Life is about taking chances, taking risks, jumping off of cliffs, and knowing, just knowing, that you're gonna fly. Welcome to the Triple M Podcast, Episode 3. My name is Adunna Harris, and thank you for sitting with me today. Uh, I was supposed to be in Miami. I was supposed to be walking on a beach right now. And of course, because of this pandemic, unfortunately, that did not happen. So now I'm talking to you. Travel has, in essence, if you read my newest blog post for this past week, I talked about travel and the importance for me, specifically because it's my me time. It's always been. I've been traveling since I was about 2 years old to my father's homeland, which was Trinidad. That was my first ever trip, carnival and all. And I don't know, since then, because my parents are both immigrants, I think that's just in our nature to travel regularly. So from that small, I was always somewhere. My next overseas trip, I believe 4, was England. And I sporadically remember certain parts of that trip, but not a lot because obviously I was only 4 years old. But it's been a very important part of me to just travel my entire life. And even especially into my adulthood, going on trips by myself, going on trips with friends, going on trips with my love, just going on trips and having a good old grand old time is such an important part of me. And then I had a baby. And all of that seemed to have stopped. In the last 2 years, because my baby will be 2 this week, in my last 2 years, I've been on 3 trips. One for my birthday, a little after my daughter was born, and I will certainly get to that because that is a big chunk of the reason I wanted to do this episode in the first place. My second trip was almost a year later to a bachelorette trip because I was a part of, I was a bridesmaid to one of my friends, and her bachelorette trip was in NOLA. So we went to NOLA, and then a couple months later, recently, before this whole pandemic took over, me and hubby, along with a lot of my friends, well, two of my sister tribe friends and their significant others, went to Cali and had a good old time in California. It was California living for real, and it was an amazing trip I was so glad I got to take some time out and spend with hubby because that was our first trip together since having our daughter, which it took a lot out of us. We used to travel regularly. And when I say regularly, I mean at least 2 big trips a year and a weekend getaway. And once I got pregnant, that ceased to exist. And then having a kid, trying to plan around all of that is super duper hard. And take time out for yourself out of your everyday working, coming home, being a parent, being a wife, him working, coming home, being a parent, being a husband. It's hard to put time aside for you guys to go away because you don't want to leave your kid. I'm not that parent. I don't want to just drop my kid every 5 seconds and just so I can take me. But I do know that it is definitely very important to make sure that you take time out for yourself in being a parent. So if that means this has become my now me time. Me recording my podcast is my me time. Malia gets to have fun with her grandmother most weekends, and I get to do things like clean the house, record, and work on business while she's not here and taking up most of my brain space. So, to my first trip after having my daughter, it was such a back and forth in my mind, even up until right before we left, on whether I wanted to go or not. What happened was we had plans to go to Miami Carnival the year before. which was 2017. And we made plans and we made plans and made plans, and the plans seemed to have fall through, but also I ended up getting pregnant. I was super duper new, and I also had just gone through the miscarriage a couple months before, so I wasn't taking any chances of doing anything outside of my regular norm that could potentially make me lose my kid again. So I was not going anywhere. So fast forward, I want to say that we had the conversation right before I gave birth to her that it was a possibility that we wanted to go. They were planning lots of trips. My girlfriends were planning lots of trips that year. One to Mexico, I believe, for one of their birthdays. Miami, I couldn't have done for another birthday because I was literally almost 10 months pregnant and we couldn't go nowhere, couldn't fly nowhere, wasn't going anywhere. So the next place was Miami for Carnival 2018. And it was a thought, and I did really want to go. And prior to having her, was dead set and sure that I'd be able to swing that. You know, I had a conversation with hubby, and he was like, absolutely go. You know, you didn't get to go last year. It's right around your birthday. Miami Carnival was always either the weekend before or the weekend after my birthday every year. So it's right around your birthday. You need to go, have some time, have some me time. It's good. It's cool. I'll have the baby. We'll be great. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then she got here. And it was hard because here's this little thing of mine that I love so dearly. I don't want to leave you. And I was breastfeeding. So that was another hurdle on what I was going to do, exactly how I was going to maneuver through going away and still actively breastfeeding. And I did it. I went. And it's not like that I didn't have a struggle going. I went. I got on the plane, and it was difficult. I felt away. It was a little better because I ended up flying with my girlfriend there. So I felt a little more at ease. But literally, my mind was on 1,000 at all times, thinking about her and him and if they're okay. And even just being in the air for that 2-hour period, my mind was, I was going nutso. And we got there. And I felt the breeze and the palm trees. And Florida to me is like a second home. My dad lives out there. You know, I have friends out there. So I've gone to Florida several times in my lifetime, and it just felt good. It was like Jacqueline Hyde. I really felt so torn. Like I was happy to be out there. I really was. But in the same instance, I left a piece of my heart here in New Jersey, and it was a constant back and forth. And I tried my best to make sure I remained present, so that I could enjoy the me time that I had gone for, because what would be the point of going if I was just going to run myself ragged with worrying and being fearful of anything and everything that could happen here while I was there. Also, because when you are breastfeeding, you know, your breasts know what time your child usually feeds. I had to consistently pump, which made it even worse because I'm thinking about my baby. I'm missing my baby. You know, this is our bonding time, and I'm missing our bonding time for those. I want to say we were there. Was it Thursday to Monday? I don't remember. It was either Thursday to Monday or Friday to Monday. I don't remember. It was 2 years ago. Sue me. So while there, hubby ends up getting sick. And my first thing to him was like, do you need me to come home? I will jump on a plane right now. Like, I don't even care. It is okay. My family comes first. And he was like, girl, I was just telling you I don't feel well. You ain't going nowhere. Please enjoy yourself. And I was like, no, because she needs me, and now you need me, and I need to go. And he was like, no, seriously, get off the phone. Like, I was just telling you I don't feel well. And thank God for, again, my tribe and my mom being the badass that she is. She stepped in because I was not around and, gave him a night off so that he could try and recuperate a little bit, and took and she was only, how old was Mai? 5 months then? What are we talking? June, July, August, September, October. Almost 5 months. 4.5. At that moment, and leaving your 4.5 month old. And then your husband being sick gotta like just tore me to shreds. But again, I'm in the midst of supposed to be enjoying my birthday celebration, sistercation with my girls. I need to stay present. So I did that. And I am so glad that I did. I had a conversation with two older women from my job, one of them being my pastor, which I love so much. And we were talking right before I was to leave, and they were so for me, making sure that I take some time for me and keep Adunna present. Make sure that Adunna remembers Adunna, that Adunna is not just, and they're a big part of the reasoning behind all of this, because having consistent conversation with older women who have gone through life and who have been where you have been in regards to kids and husbands and family, and unfortunately untimely passing of their significant others, it gives you a lot of insight into life and what the possibility of your journey becoming. And I expressed to them several times that I was torn and didn't know if I really wanted to go, and they were adamant about pushing me and making sure that you remember who you are. It's a lot. I will never forget it. Connie said to me, it is so extremely hard to rediscover yourself once you have completely lost yourself. Then rediscovering yourself after a big event like becoming a mom. She had put so much into her kids and her husband that once her kids got grown and moved on with their lives and got married and her husband unfortunately passed away, it was like, okay, so where do I fit in now? Like into her own life. Where do I fit in my life where I was their mom and I was his wife, and I devoted so much time to doing both of those and not giving myself enough time to devote to myself, that no, Adunna, you're gonna go and you're gonna make sure that you have fun, because it's necessary. It's a necessary, quote unquote, selfishness, evil, whatever you want to call it, for you to make sure that you take time for you. And if this is the way you take time, if traveling and enjoying life and getting a peace of mind and taking 2 minutes for you is what you need to make sure that you are the best mom and the best wife and the best singular person that you can be, then do that. And I'm so glad that I did, because coming back from that, I felt so refreshed. I missed my kid like crazy. I missed my husband like crazy. And it just made me a better person. It gave me a new clarity on life and how I should go about living my life and moving through and making sure that I take time out, even if it's 5 minutes to sit in my car. And I know most of us do that. We'll be right in front of the house, sit in the car, and either think or play a game or just sit and listen to music and rock out. And that, in essence, is taking 5 minutes for yourself. It could be a literal 5 minutes. It could be 25 minutes. I've sat in the car for hours in front of my house, just not getting up, because I needed a moment. I needed to be able to take my time before, getting back into my different realm of reality at that point. So you go from waking up in the morning, getting them settled, doing what they need to do with school, if they're in school, or dropping her off to babysitter, daycare, grandma, whoever, going to work, being that person, job, career, what have you, for 8, 10 hours, 12 hours. Getting off. Either picking your child up or just driving home. And needing a second before you get in the house and then have to take care of the house and everything else that goes with it and cook dinner and do everything. You need a shut off at some point for yourself. And travel is my shut off. Going away from my surroundings is my shut off. I do not bring work with me. Sometimes it happens, you always have your phone. So you find yourself doing things even still while you're on vacation, but I've always made it a very stern, I'm not doing work while I am on vacation. Even if it's a staycation, I'm not doing work if I am off. I don't want to talk to nobody about anything. It is literally a shut off. Because if you don't learn to do that, then you're going to feel run down very quickly, and you're liable to become a person that you don't even know anymore because you're angry and frustrated and tired. So I'm blessed that I was able, one, to even have the opportunity to travel and to go on sistercations with my tribe and have fun without my baby girl or my hubby, because everybody doesn't have that luxury. But to that, I will say, you have to plan. Your life. Your life has changed drastically, especially if you have children or a husband, or even if you are your singular person and you're working on your business or you're working on your job and it takes over most of your life. It's a little easier to do what I'm about to say, but it's still not easy. You have to plan. You have to make plans for yourself. I had to get used to the fact that I could not pick up and go anymore. Me and hubby had several conversations about that, actually, in the past 2 years, because we were hey, let's just go out. Hey, let's just pick up and go on a road trip. Hey, let's just pick up and go. And when you have a kid, you cannot pick up and go no more. When you have a demanding job, you cannot pick up and go anymore. My husband works in the medical field. He cannot just pick up and go. That actually literally needs to be a plan, because space has to be filled, shifts have to be filled. Like, it's not I can just automatically do. Although I'm teaching now, I still have to, there's still ways that I have to go about making sure that I have time off. I'm already thinking about my birthday and what I want to do for my birthday. And God willing, this pandemic is over and I will be able to be on somebody's beach barefoot and just have a moment. Because that's all I really want at this moment. The stay at home hasn't really bothered me, but the fact that I can't go where I want, when I want, bothers me. And now going to the grocery store used to be my thing, and now it gives me anxiety because of everything that goes into going to the grocery store. Me not wanting to bring my kid out because people don't know how to stay 6 feet apart. But back to this. Learning that you can't just pick up and go anymore, and it takes consistent planning to have the life that you want, which seems like it's a lot more work, but it's gratifying once you get to the goal that you set. So let's just say, here I am, like I said before, I am actively in May planning my birthday in October and wanting to go away. They just lifted certain things, so I'm able to go on Book It and certain things like that and be able to look at where I want to go. But setting a time and setting a time, a week that I want to go, or a weekend that I want to do something. You have to plan, and you have to set yourself up in accordance. Obviously, sometimes life don't roll the way you want it to, and things have to get shifted around. But at least if you set yourself and your plan up, it'll be easier for you to execute it than thinking that you'll be able to fly by night, pick up and go whenever you want to, and drop everything, all the responsibilities that you have in life down and walk away. You can't, life don't go like that, especially when you're an adult. Like, unfortunately for us, life does not move that way anymore. And learning that as you get older is essential to being able to move through the new chapters, the continual chapters in your life. I travel for me. I don't travel for anybody else. I'm selfish in that way. That, and it is in essence a essential for me to do for me. I know that it makes me happier. Granted, I don't get to do it as often as I used to, but I look forward to the once a year now that I get to do that. Or even twice a year that I get to do that. I have travel buddies. I have consistent travel buddies that I travel with regularly. That we've been traveling together all through our 20s. And we have a system. And we know how each other works. And we're good with the whatever. We kind of just flow with it when we are on vacation. We don't have to set up necessary to do everything under the sun. You know, we get time to just relax and chill, because that's the point of going on vacation, is just to chill. And we have that time, and we give each other the space that we could all be on vacation together, and at one point you will find one of us in the room asleep and the others are off doing what they want. We're together in that sense, but we're separate in that sense, because we're all singular people. And although we come together at one place, everybody goes on vacation for a different purpose. And sometimes you just need your time. And for me, that is my me time. And I love, because we've built such a standard for our life, I love being able to go away with hubby and just have our me time, away from baby girl, and just get to focus on us and enjoy the scenery and the breeze and the air and each other. Travel is essential to my being. And I think it would be essential to everybody's being if they actually took time to do it for themselves. I think it's important, especially traveling outside of the country and learning different cultures. It makes you definitely a more open person. I think we would have a lot less issues in regards to cultures and customs if people actually took time to go outside of their norm and see other things and be open to understanding other cultures and other behaviors and other religions, for a country rather, that is a culmination of so many different beings. We struggle the most with understanding other people and their cultures and where they come from and their backgrounds and how they do things. And I always thank God for finding the mate that I found, because it's been pretty easy together to not have to explain certain things to him. I was raised in a very Jamaican household, and culturally we are very different, and it hasn't felt like we are very different. It hasn't been a lot that I've had to explain to him I mean, obviously food and some traditions. But it was pretty easy, and I think that because of his child rearing and how he was raised, to be accepting of other people and the things that he did. You know, he played basketball for a very long time. Um, and that kind of opened doors to him seeing and meeting other people. Plus, born and raised in Newark, you know, you see just about everybody. So I think travel is just super duper essential to life and the prospering of life. I just think everybody should just do it every once in a while. Just go out, away from, even if you don't leave the country, go elsewhere. I love going to new states and conquering states by myself or with hubby. I always bring back a shot glass. I don't even know why, because I don't drink like that, but it started when I was young, and I always bring back a token from somewhere so I can see all the places that I have been, especially in the country. Like, you get to just, I'm a lover of landscapes. I like to just look at the beauty of Mother Nature and the world. And yes, I'm a flower child. So I like walking in the grass barefoot and just feeling the breeze in my hair and against my skin, and especially in the water. The best water I think I've ever sat in is in Aruba. I met God that day. I always say that. Just travel, people. Okay? Just travel. It's awesome. It's amazing. I want to thank you for joining me today, and look forward to episode 4. I'll be taking a weekend off. My daughter's birthday is next weekend, so there will not be an episode next Monday, but you definitely can look forward to it the following Monday. I may do a pop-up live though during the week, so you guys can see my face and we can talk about life and whatever happens, you know? I'm open to anything. Mwah! Thanks.